Alright. What's up, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, people of social media? Don't look at me weird. I have company for my video today. I prefer to do a solo. But apparently she want to come home early today.
Hi!
That's my mama. Anyway, moving on. Alright, so I did a few videos on like spirituality, I guess, spiritual beliefs. So I just wanted to do another one. Kind of introduce myself to the community. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. I would consider myself a member of the Truth Movement. I've gratefully, luckily been awakened to the mass deception that's happening in this world. So I'm going to talk about who I am, how I got there, and the basics of what I believe. I'm not going to go into every single theory I believe, but the basics that probably people are going to want to know about. Alright, number one. So my name is Joanna. I was born in Georgia on a military base. I'm a military kid. Unfortunately. I thought it was a cool thing before I knew all this other stuff. Now I kind of think it just means I've had more vaccines than everybody else, and that makes me a little irritated. Anyway, my name's Joanna. I'm 24, almost, next week. I'll be 24. I grew up in California. I was born in Georgia, but I grew up in California. So, yeah. Before I understood about how this world works, I would have classified myself politically liberal. Not exactly democratic. I'm a spiritual person too, so I do have differences there. I'm also gay. I feel I need to say that because I do believe in God. I don't believe in doctrine. But I do believe that anybody who's going to watch my videos has the right to choose whether or not they feel that I'm a person they should be listening to. I do know that there is a lot of people in the religious community who are going to try to say that I'm possessed by some kind of demon or, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm gonna just put it out there in the beginning, because if I were to hide it and then somebody would find out later, it would make me look bad and less credible, and I spent a lot of time hiding, and I'm not gonna do that anymore. So, me personally, I feel fine about my sexuality. I don't feel it's a sin or an abomination. The sin of Sodom and Gomorrah, it's historically accurate. That's the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was rape. It was rape and sex magic, and rape and consensual adult relations are not the same thing. And I think homosexuality gets a bad rap because it is less common. Most people are straight. I think God made it that way to keep on the human race. But I think we get a bad rap because so many times in the media, gay people are portrayed as extremely promiscuous, or they're thieves and gangbang. You know what I mean? Especially like the girls, they're super butch and they're thieves and they're gangbangers, and you know. And I think back in the day, you know, homosexuality, I don't think it's ever been really widely accepted. So people hide, and people, you know, and so people don't see it. So then when they see, you know, this sex abuse happening, you know, and they see it happening between old men and young men, then they immediately make the connection, oh, two genders of the same having sex together is evil. And that's not true. I mean, some people compare it to bestiality. That's insulting. I would never have sex with an animal. That's disgusting. Yeah, I'm not going to keep going into that. I feel fine. I feel good about who I am. What I'm going to tell people from this point forward. If you feel worried about my soul, if you feel worried about my eternal life, pray for me. But God is my only king. God is my only judge, and I answer to no man. So do not ask me questions. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm probably going to disable comments for most of my videos because of this specific thing. I don't want negative energy in my space. It's taken me a long time to get to a point where I could feel comfortable in my own skin. Being a person who grew up in an extremely religious, well, not extremely religious, but pretty religious household. I grew up in a church, you know what I mean? So it was hard for me, initially anyway. And now it's hard because it's like, you know, my grandma just passed away a few weeks ago, and I have this urge to go to church because church as a kid was an extremely comforting place for me. Yeah. And I want that comfort, but I don't feel welcome in a church. Because they all think I'm an abomination. And when I think about that, sometimes it hurts, but, you know, got to a point where I'm good about it. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm running on and on. Anyway, if you don't have a problem with that, you're still here. I'm glad you're still here. And I'm going to move on now. So for me, my whole awakening to this mass deception that's happening around the world was spiritual and not physical. I did not know about Monsanto. I didn't know about the Bilderberg. I had heard the name Rockefeller once or twice. I really didn't even know what it meant. Some rich guy. Okay, there's plenty of rich guys. Like, Bill Gates ain't running the world either, you know what I mean? The GMO movement and trying to get the government to mandate labeling genetically engineered food was happening like when I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school. So we're talking, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, maybe more. I lost track. And I was one of those people, I thought the hippies were just tripping. I did. I'm sorry, hippies. I thought you were just tripping. Now I am a hippie. So, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know about any of this. I didn't know about fluoride water. I knew absolutely nothing. So for me, it started, I was in a really bad place emotionally. I suffered a lot of loss, a lot of grief, a lot of trauma, and I was lost and angry and doing things that were outside of my character. I was drinking a lot, smoking a lot. Yeah, I was stuck in a circle of negativity that I did not know how to get out of. And then I started seeing the numbers. The number sequences, for anybody who's experienced that, that's what woke me up. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew it meant something because I, went through 22 years of life not having this happen to me. And then all of a sudden, every time I look at the clock, it's 11:11 or 2:22 or 3:33, or I'm at work and I'm ringing my customer up and their total 777, or I'm at the gym and I look down at my phone to change the song and the song's at 2 minutes and 22 seconds. It was everywhere. So I started doing research. I kind of dabbled into the occult stuff first, just because I didn't really know what I was doing. At this point, I kind of felt disenfranchised from the church because of my sexuality. I would still consider myself a spiritual person, but at that point I was kind of one of those spiritual people who was like, oh, the universe, you know what I mean, instead of, oh, God, simply because I was still really struggling with the idea that God hated me and that I didn't actually make myself like this, and that doesn't seem fair. Yeah, so I didn't really want to go back to believing in God in the traditional sense yet. Yeah. So I started looking at tarot and astrology and yada yada yada. I was having several supernatural, I won't call it supernatural, that makes it sound drastic, spiritual experiences, weird things happening. I would wake up in the middle of the night all the time. Several other things that I've described in some of my videos that I've already done. There's a long introduction. One being which I noticed there was a period in my life in which I was having a lot of synchronicity. I would think about something a few hours or a few days later it would happen. And it was weird at some point. It started to get weird, and I remember walking to work one day and thinking to myself, well, it's almost like I have superpowers. And then I was like, nah, that's silly. And I was like, man, I don't know. I was like, in my head, I literally had the thought, oh, it's not like I can make a man fall in the street or anything. And then I looked to the left, and a man fell in the street. And that was insane. And just stuff like that. Other things. There was one time I was drinking a lot. I worked morning shift at a gas station. Maybe I work at like 5:30. And there's one night that I had way too much to drink. I usually made it a habit not to drink before I had to work, but it was a bad day. And I was plastered. I didn't set my alarm. I forgot to set my alarm. Like, I should have been sleeping in my bed at like 9:37 when my boss called me. Where the hell? Well, she wouldn't have waited 4 hours to call me. But yeah, you know, I mean, I should have been late to work. It should have been bad, and somehow it wasn't. I woke up exactly 4:44. Another number sequence there, and I wasn't late to work somehow. And you know, just things like that seems coincidental, but when you have a million little coincidences add up, you stop believing in the idea of coincidence, and you start realizing that everything in this world is connected. I don't really believe in coincidence anymore. I think coincidence is a lie. Yeah. So that's how it started for me. Even still, you know, I was looking into the astrology and the tarot, and I wasn't really getting anything from it, and the numbers just kept happening. And then I moved out to Sacramento. Yeah, life kind of took a turn for the worse. Even though it was already bad, it kind of got worse. And I really think God was just trying to get through to me, and I just wasn't listening. And that's why that happened. Anyway, so I kept seeing the numbers, 11, 11, 11, 11, 12, 12, 3, 33, all the time. And by this point, it's been like 8 months since this has been happening to me. And it's like, I know it means something, but what does it mean? And then one night I had a dream. And in my dream I saw a giant clock, digital clock, 4 ones on it, 11, 11, just in my face. Duh, 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 duh. Like it was urgent, like it was, you need to come out of this shit you're in right freaking now. That's how it felt. Like someone was desperately trying to get my attention. And I woke up the next day, and you know, it was crazy. And I woke up, and I woke up, and as soon as I went in the kitchen, I looked at the clock, it was 11, 11. And that's weird, because I never sleep till 11 in the morning. I mean, sometimes I do. Surprised my mom didn't make a comment about that, and she got a smirk on her face right now. Yeah. So still, like, not really sure, but it's urgent, I know that. You know, and so then I started looking at, like, Indigo Children. And this idea of Indigo Children. I've kind of always felt like, you know, they describe like, oh, Indigo Children, if you feel like you don't fit in, you're out of place, like, you're not from here, you know what I mean? And I kind of identified with that, because I've always felt like that. I'm very different. I have a very different way of looking at things, culturally, linguistically, emotionally, spiritually, different, you know. So I was like, kind of tingling with the idea, you know, is it possible that some people are actually sent here on a specific mission, and that's why we feel so foreign? And as I was watching that video that night, you know, I got everything up, and I was ready to go to bed, turned my phone off, and I went into the kitchen, grabbed some water, I walked past the clock, 11, 11. And in my mind, that was just like my confirmation. Yes, there are some people who are not here to be played by this system and then die. There are some people who I believe were meant, who were always kind of destined to be awoken into this information. I'm not saying I'm special. I'm not saying I'm psychic. I'm not saying I'm chosen by God. I'm not saying any of that. What I do know is that 2 years ago I was asleep, and then I started seeing numbers, and now I'm not. And since then I've had several supernatural, I won't say supernatural, I've had several dreams in which I believe I've seen possible events that may I've experienced warnings. I had one neighbor in my new house who I felt like maybe she was practicing witchcraft, and I felt like she was like putting spells on my dog and stuff like that. And I know that's kind of off the wall to some people, but as a kid, I did have one roommate. My family had a roommate who was a pagan, and back then I didn't really know what paganism was, and people just kind of try to play it off like it's just, oh, you believe in the universe and you believe that stones can do healing things and it's innocent. No, paganism is not innocent by any means, in my opinion. And then I actually had an experience where this woman put a spell on my dog. And when she first was like, oh, I put a spell on your... And she told me about it. And she was like, oh, I put a spell on your dog. And I was like, yeah, okay, crazy lady, whatever. But that whole day, my dog was acting so weird. She was acting so freaking different. So the night when I went to bed, I was like, man, my dog ain't sleeping out here with these weird people. So I took my dog with me in my room. And I sung this song to her that's, it's called You Are by Kirk Franklin. I listened to Kirk Franklin a lot as a kid, and within about 30 minutes, she calmed down, and she was acting normal again. And it was at that very point that I was like, okay, this whole witchcraft shit is real. It's not how it is on TV by any means, but it's real. So I had a neighbor here who I felt like was kind of doing the same thing, and I was very frustrated by it. I felt like I didn't know how to fight it, and so obviously my weapon, was prayer, and I just started praying about it, and one night I had a dream, and I heard this voice, the voice of God, I believe to be the voice of God, and it was telling me, it said, you have a demon in your presence. And I was like confused about it. I was like, where? What demon? Who? Like, where is it? And then the voice said, right in front of you. And I opened my eyes, I woke up, and my dog I was sleeping on an air mattress in the living room, and my dog was on the couch facing me, wide awake at like 4 a.m, staring at me. And that is not normal behavior for her. So it was just kind of like my confirmation, like, yes, this person was actually trying to mess with me spiritually. And believe it or not, that person about a month later actually had a major medical event happen to them in which their family thought they perhaps was not going to survive. I'm not glad that happened to her. But I am glad that she's not messing with me anymore. And to me, it just makes me see, you serve God, he will serve you. And he will take care of you. And I had an enemy in my life that I did not know how to get rid of, and God got rid of it for me. So, just several experiences like that make me I do not question the existence of God. God is real. He's very real. He's more real than the religious books try to make you understand. That's what bothers me about religion, is most people who are religious don't even believe in God, really. You go to church and they never talk about this stuff. They never talk about the deceptions. They never talk about the Satanism in Hollywood. Lots of preachers refuse to preach from the book of Revelation whatsoever, because they don't want to talk about the extraterrestrial-like beings that the book of Revelation describes, because we are human and we are brainwashed to believe that we are the only life form on this planet, other than the animals, of course. And people feel extremely uncomfortable talking about things that they can't see. And we say, oh, we don't believe in things we can't see. You know what I mean? So it's but the whole idea of religion is believing in something you can't see. Yet, if I were to go to someone I went to church with and tell them that last night I had a prophetic dream from God, they would laugh in my face. And it's why? You believe in God, right? And you believe that Moses was a prophet, and you believe that Isaiah was a prophet, and all these people were prophets, but you... So if I told you I saw an angel last night, you're going to laugh at me? I thought you believed in angels, because you believe in God, right? But there are a lot of people who believe in doctrine, and they don't believe in God. And they won't tell you that, but it's obvious from their actions that they don't actually believe in God. Yeah. So I guess that's my story. That's how I came into realizing God was real. And then from there, how I even got into the deceptionary stuff, Man, I really don't remember. What? Oh, my mom's telling me her. My mom's been a conspiracy theorist forever. I thought she was crazy. I thought she was nuts. Like, for real. When she was trying to tell me, oh, the government, and I was like, okay, mom, whatever. Yeah, so I definitely think my mom had a part of it. Yeah, and like the last 3 months has been nonstop, like researching. And it's weird because it's all happened so fast. Like 6 months ago, I was just another person who was drinking and smoking and not believing in anything like everybody else. And now I'm on a completely different level. You know, I've radically changed my diet. I don't even use man-made toothpaste anymore. I don't drink fluoride water. You know, a whole bunch of stuff. I don't eat genetically engineered food 80% of the time. You know. So yeah, my awakening was solely spiritual. And then I started coming into this information, and the more I looked into it, the more it made sense. And you know, I have gone to the effort of looking some things up for myself and not just trusting YouTube videos, and because, you know, that's a bad way to research, you know. So yeah. This is a ridiculously long video. I'm gonna try to cut it at 30 minutes and not make it another 20. All right, so now I'm gonna get into the theories that I believe in. So how I would describe myself, I still call myself a Christian, because growing up I was taught that the word Christian means to be Christ-like. And to be Christ-like means to be good and virtuous and righteous, and that's what Christian means to me. Not doctrine. I don't go to church. I'm looking for a church that I can go to. Obviously, a little bit more of an alternative style congregation. Yeah, I don't go to church currently. I believe there's a lot of negativity and lies in the church, and there's a lot of hypocrisy. Sunday is not even the Sabbath day. Saturday is, you know, they tell us that the calendar day starts on Sunday, then the 7th day would be Saturday, and the Bible says that the 7th day God rested, not the 6th day, you know, or the 8th day would count. Anyway, yeah, spiritually I classify myself as a Christian. To the rest of the world, I guess I would classify myself as a spiritualist. Most Christians would not consider me to be a Christian, so yeah, I consider myself more of a spiritual person than a religious person. I think the idea that you can fit God into a 300-page text is insulting to the Most High God of this world. It's insulting to think that you could know it all. You know, yeah. Okay, theories I believe in. Obviously, I believe in the food theories. I believe that genetically engineered food is bad for you. Pesticides, all that chemical stuff. I try to not put chemicals in my body if I can. Like I said, I use natural toothpaste. I use natural soap. Like, for real. I try not to deal with the chemicals, you know. I use natural pain medicine. I try to when I can. And not use even man-made medicine. That's, I guess, another theory I believe in. I'm not a big fan of Western medicine. After some of the things I've learned about the way they test vaccines, I don't believe the testing that they do on vaccines is nearly thorough enough for them to conclusively say that it's safe. I don't believe they're really necessary, honestly. Let's see what else. Yeah, I believe in all the food stuff. I believe in the fluoridated water theory. Fluoride is bad for you and calcifies your pineal gland. Yeah, I've come into a lot of knowledge. I know about the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, the Rothschilds, the J.P. Morgans. I know who they are now, and not just a random name that reminds me of Chase Bank. I know for a fact that the Illuminati is real. Last year, they attempted to recruit somebody that I was working with. this year they came directly to me and attempted to recruit me. So anybody who thinks the Illuminati is not real, they're real. I do believe there are kind of two separate Illuminatis. There are the puppets in the entertainment industry who are not actually a part of the real Illuminati, I believe. And then the real Illuminati I see as being the bloodlines. Oh, so many interruptions. Please keep them in there, whoever that is. The 13 families who own all the banks. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and J.P. Morgan being 3 of those 13 families. I have heard that they are actually genetically related, which is extremely weird. I haven't looked into that for myself. I'm assuming it's true. But, yeah. The idea that there are 13 families, first of all, 13 is the number of the beast. It's not the number of the beast, but it's the number, I believe, biblically, that God assigned to Satan was number 13. Which is why Friday the 13th has that superstition. Probably, it's probably where they got that from. And also because they're literally related. That's like some biblical type of stuff. That's like some vampire. If you ever seen Vampire Diaries, and you got what's his name, Stefan and Damon, and they're part of this ancient family who has all the secrets to the world. That's some type of stuff like that. You know what I mean? So if these people are actually related, that should be extreme proof to some who don't believe that this is a spiritual war, that this is indeed a spiritual war. Because if it was just a physical one, it could be any random 13 family. Why 13? Why not 12? Why not 11? Why not a non-biblically relevant number? And they're all related. That's too weird. Yeah, anyway. The theories about the truth of religion, I guess. People get into this Kabbalah, the third eye, the Kundalini. I guess my stance on that so far is I have not done enough research. I get into things like that and it makes me a little nervous because that's where my doctrine kicks in and I'm like, that's witchcraft, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. I follow one guy on YouTube though, who believes a lot of the same things I believe. I believe that the truth is kind of a mixture of everything. And actually, if you look up the word Babylon, that's what Babylon means. It means confusion by mixture. And I've always believed that, even since I was a kid, that the truth is a little bit of everything. Yeah, but there's one guy that I follow on YouTube. Man, I wish I could remember his name. He's more on the religious side, but he is freely spiritual. And he had, asserted that Jesus used Kundalini. Is that the energy I'm talking about? Yeah. That Jesus used Kundalini energy to part the Red Sea. So that theory is kind of interesting, that there are powers that we can tap into through fasting and prayer that are much more powerful and supernatural than anything that we could have imagined. I think the idea of us actually having a power that we can physically tap into kind of makes sense because, the Bible tells you that we have free will. So, for me, I always kind of thought of when supernatural things like that happen. I never saw the story of Moses Moses parted the Red Sea. I saw it as the Spirit of God overtook Moses and God parted the Red Sea. And that's how I saw it. And that's kind of how I like to keep things in my mind because it keeps me humble. But yeah, the use of an energy that you can tap into kind of does, support that idea of free will. That you can use this energy for good or for bad. And Prodigy, the late Prodigy, rest in peace to Prodigy. Yeah, they got his ass. But you know what? That dude, man, guts. Because there's a lot of people out here, I firmly believe that everybody in the entertainment industry knows the Illuminati is real. And they won't tell you because they're scared. I don't think you can be in the entertainment industry working with these people, working all the time in and out of the spotlight with these people who are Masons and Illuminati members and high ranking elite type of people. And I don't think you can be in that world and not start to see when the people who are outside of that world, we're not even in Hollywood and we can see it. So, big ups to Prodigy, man. Like, yeah. Rest in paradise, brother. Not a lot of people have the gall to really lay it all out like that. Yeah. So as far as, I guess, the spiritual theories, how I feel about that, I'm not really sure. It's an area I still have to do more research into. What I basically want to do is go back to the history of the Romans, the Egyptians, and the Israelites. And the Jewish people. And I feel that if I can learn the history of those 4 groups of people, that I can come to a better conclusion of what the spiritual truth of human beings might be. You know, I read one book the other day that was asserting that the Israelites, you know, whenever the Israelites were one of the few groups who maintained a monotheistic spiritual belief system. So basically the belief in one God. Whereas a lot of the other religions were practicing polytheism and worshiping idol gods. And it was asserting, this book that I read was asserting that when the Israelites stuck to their monotheism and stuck to their belief in one God, they prospered. And yet somehow, when they fell into the practices of the people around them and worshipped idols, they did not prosper. I don't remember the exact wording they used. And that does kind of line up with the Bible. The Bible talks about the children of Israel. Oh, if I can remember what book that's in. There's one book that I left off reading talking about the children of Israel and how they were constantly disobeying God. And he was constantly getting angry with them. So it does kind of support this idea that they hopped back and forth between, okay, there's only one God, maybe we'll worship these idols and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Everybody's knocking at my door today. So I guess I'm going to stop there. In the interest of keeping it short, it's officially not short anymore, but I'm going to stop there. I'm probably going to be disabling comments for my videos from this point forward. I don't want negative energy in my space. Negative energy is powerful if you let it overtake you. But feel free if you have any questions, if you want to reach out on a positive note, most definitely hit me up, send me a message. I definitely will respond. My email address is joannab920 at gmail. Joanna spelled Joanna, B as in boy, 920 at gmail.com. Hit me up if you wanna talk. I'm definitely open to it, but like I said, I'm not gonna be reading comments all day about people and their opinions, and that's just gonna put me in a bad headspace, and I don't need to be there. So yeah, I'm Joanna. That's the truth as I see it. And yeah. So the next video I'm going to do is going to be a pretty quick one. And I'm going to try to touch on, I think I got 5 or 6 different theories there that I feel that someone who's new to the truth movement or someone who's not yet a part of it might be able to wrap their head around a little bit easier than the big stuff. It's hard for a lot of people to believe that, you know, you got Congress members who are going to Bilderberg meetings and practicing satanic rituals, even though I'm pretty sure Alex Jones like exposed that years ago. Yeah, he snuck in there and he got footage of it, and people still don't believe it. And it's like, it's not all over the television though, like it should be, because the elite families, they own all the media, dude. Like, this is why people don't believe us when we try to talk about this stuff, because, oh, I didn't see it on the news. Of course you didn't see it on the news. Anyway, yeah. So that's the next video I'm going to do. I'm going to stop talking now. Thank you for listening for 34 minutes. Jesus Lord, I did not plan on talking for that long. And yeah, stay prayed up, stay in the word, whatever word that is, whatever works for you. Spirituality, closeness. I truly believe that anybody with true righteousness in their heart, whether you pray to Allah or Jesus, or it don't matter. If you have true righteousness in your heart and you believe in one God of being as being the most high God of the entire everything, then I believe that when you pray, you are talking to the most high God and you are saved by his grace. So yeah, I hope you guys all stay educated, stay safe, stay spiritual, and yeah, next time.